I imagine him back there with switches, dials, wheels turning, pulling, just like the old days of computers.
Oh, yeah. All right. Welcome, everybody. Today is January 4th, our first Monday of a new year that I'm sure we're all glad is here. This is our annual City Council workshop that precedes the first council meeting of 2021, where we elect or nominate a president and vice president for the year of 2021, as well as nominate members for the Public Works Finance Committee and the Administrative Committee. And we kind of dole out who among the six of us will serve on which of our many volunteer commissions and some other boards. I was thinking about 1 year ago today when we had this process, and at that point in time, I remember saying, this is the beginning of a new council that has never existed before, the beginning of a new year, and the beginning of a new decade, and that was all very exciting to all of us. And so as far as the year, I think we can all agree that we made it through. We're glad that's behind us. We're ready to move on to a new one. As far as the decade, we've got the first year down, and I feel very hopeful and optimistic that the worst year of that decade is behind us, and they will get better from here on out. As far as the council, Gina, Maureen, Sandra, Ann, and Art, I just really appreciate that each one of you is an independent thinker. I know that, I've experienced that. We don't always agree on everything, and nor should we always agree. Having said that, all of us, as everyone else in our community and everywhere, has been personally impacted by COVID in the year 2020. And I'm just grateful that every one of us was able to set politics aside, listen to the public health experts, which none of us are, and make the decisions we made and not be fighting against each other. So I am grateful for that, and am looking forward to the next year, spending it with all of you, working through whatever else comes our way. And this next year may be the last year of this exact council. Who knows? So we're going to make the most out of it, and I know we will together. So that's my introduction, and I'm going to turn it over. I don't know, Bill, do you take over? I guess not at this point. So
you,
we
Brandy.
just proceed with business here. Okay. So first item on our agenda is nomination, consideration for council president. This has always been a somewhat informal workshop, so discussion, nominations, that's the way it goes. And who would like to? Sandra?
Well, I don't think it will come as any surprise that I'd like to nominate Art, Vice President, natural flow of things. He hasn't done anything crazy to make us go, oh my gosh, I don't think that's the right move.
But I tried.
No, and so I'd like to nominate Art as council president for 2021.
I would second that, and I would say that maybe this year, Art, you can think about something crazy, just to throw it in.
Well, I'm anticipating this to be the last year on council, so why not?
But I hear exactly what Sandra's saying, and I think that your level head in craziness can be very soothing and helpful. So I do support that nomination, hands down.
Any other nominations, discussion?
No, thanks.
I just have a question. I wonder if anybody else wants to hold that position. That's really the question for me.
Okay.
And I think that having that discussion is always kind of awkward when you say, oh, somebody gets nominated and then what do you do? But if somebody didn't nominate somebody else, then I think it's really critical that we at least hear that, you know, Lori wants to be our president next year. Get promoted or demoted, I don't know which it is. But anyways, I just was just joking. I think the issue there really is a matter of, is if there's somebody else out there, then we can actually have a discussion. But I don't want anybody to walk out of here and think, oh, I wish I had been.
Right.
Okay,
Kind of like the natural succession of VP to president, which we haven't always followed in my time on the council, but generally have.
Yeah, there is a certain learning curve to being on the leadership committee, and it's a nice baton pass. It's much smoother, as I think you've realized.
Yeah.
okay. Well, is there anyone else that would like to say, well, I'm interested in being president? Okay. Well, then it seems we have a consensus that the nomination is for Art to move into the presidential position. How about for vice president? Gina?
I would like to nominate Sandra. I think that your level head and positive outlook will be an attribute.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I would second that. The depth of knowledge Sandra has of our community and community involvement and who's doing what, how around town is a great asset, and I would support that nomination.
Okay. Anyone else? I would like to throw out Anne as another nomination. I do not disagree with what you both said about Sandra. I think you do have a very level head, and you are involved with lots in the community. You've been excellent on the council. The reason I would like to also consider Anne is because in that sort of natural succession, and historically, since I've been on council, kind of moving people in as far as their length of time on the council. So from that standpoint alone is what makes me throw Anne's name out there. So this does always, as you said, Maureen, then it gets a little weird because, you know, we're not having a playground throwdown here. You know, we don't have one of our former counselor members here who was a teacher and had a very unique way of dealing with that, which was very endearing. So I suppose if anyone else has comments or thoughts about either Anne or Maureen, thank you for bailing me out there with.
Okay, so my next question is that I think that it would be helpful to have each of them talk about why they think it would be a good position for them. And so that actually it's, you know, kind of like a little candidates form, but not quite. But you know what I mean? I just think it's a sense of people have nominated them and they've given justifications for that. And my sense is that it would be helpful to then hear why it is that people, why they want to do it and what they bring to it.
I do have a question before we do that. Guys, Bill, what happens if we tie? We have to arm wrestle?
We have to figure it out. We have to come to a consensus. Yeah.
Okay,
Playground.
so there isn't any, put your head down and, that was actually
Yeah,
kind of cool
that
last
was
year.
kind of how
I didn't mind
yeah, I mean,
that.
we could go that route again.
Yeah.
And as I recall that when that happened too, I remember Gary saying, does either one of the nominees want to kind of step back and say, I'll hand it over? So that's the, you know, if either one of you would say, I'm happy to pass, then that's solved. If, I don't mean to put you on the spot, if we don't hear anything within a few seconds to that degree, then I suppose that Maureen's idea is interesting too. We could always go for a vote.
But I mean, even if we don't go for a vote, I still want to, whether they do, I mean, one is a process question and one is an information question. And my perspective is information is more important and then you go to process. So, I mean, information
Okay.
is part of the process, but selection process. It
hear
has
you.
to include getting information from everyone.
Okay? So,
Sure. I don't think anyone gets into any sort of organization that's a leadership position and not want to go for the next level. And so that's really humbling, and I'm appreciative of that. And I would say that without having really thought about this part of it, Maureen, but that's okay. I like off the cuff. It's great.
Spontaneity.
No, I love it. But, I am out in the community a lot, and I'm working not just with the nonprofit folks, but I've been working with people worried about evictions. I've been working a lot with the LGBTQ communities. I've been working with the furry communities as well. In addition to our local businesses and our downtowns and folks trying to bring new business in, and visited with folks from SEL, and not in an effort to try and show leadership or to try and gain respect, but just to figure things out and find out where we're at, which is something that when I don't understand something or I want to know more, that's just what I do. I hope at least that's what I do. It's what I try to do. And so I have been out, and it's been harder, of course, because of COVID, but have been really cognizant of making sure we're social distancing and making sure those boundaries are set, while at the same time trying to have actual visits with people, because for me, while Zoom works well, and I've been on it, I think, as much as everyone else, I also like to really be able to talk with people, and I've made a real effort to do that and to see where people are at. Businesses, our nonprofits, our regular, just folks out there who are in school or struggling, and I've met with all these folks at different times and have really tried to bring their thoughts and their concerns to the council and to the votes that I make and to the things I try to further investigate. And so I think that puts me in a solid spot, but I wouldn't say, to be honest, we're all solid folks here, right? It's not like there are slackers in the group, which I super appreciate, right? We're all hard workers. So I am a hard worker. Of course, I would be honored to be in this position. I would hope that we do have a succession and I could, be president and then watch the succession go. But yeah, it would be an honor, and I would love to do it, but I'm not going to sulk, and pout and cry. Should things not go that way, because we are one good, solid group, and like Brandy said, we don't always agree. I think we do work together, and I'm grateful for that. So I hope that helped a little.
I would say, I hope this is apparent to all of you that I've made a really concerted effort, especially in the last year, but in the 3 years combined, to be really responsive to the public as best as possible. And I think that has been especially challenging this year when people have been very heated and frustrated. And, as Sandra touched on, being really active in the community, I feel the same. And I think a big part of that is an extension of when people are meeting us in our inbox. That's where I want to be engaging with them as well and making sure that we're doing the work there. And so I don't think that this position should be based on seniority by any means, but I will say that I'm coming into my 4th year in this position. I'm one of only 2 of us who's been reelected in this room by the community, and I think that it's an important learning experience for all of us. I hope that all of us, those of us who haven't already been in these roles, have that experience. I feel the same way about being in leadership just on a committee and having the experience of running meetings. And so I appreciate the nomination. I would be interested in this role and would hope to earn your vote for it this year.
I might just comment on one other thing in thinking about and not historically, because I think it was very different maybe 10 years ago. Someone would stay in the positions for a long time, is that right?
That was with the commissions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just know with Councilor Catherine Bonzo, and at that time, everyone kind of felt, really everyone should get moved into this position, that it's valuable for everyone who is elected to this position to have that opportunity to serve in that leadership role. So that's just and so regardless of what happens here, I would really hope that everybody here, we know us 3 have, that all 3 of you do, whether it's this year or next year, but I think everyone who is elected to this position should be a part of that at some point, and really.
I strongly agree with that sentiment. One other thing I forgot to mention was that I would hope to take some cues from some of the things I saw Brandy do this year, which I know as somebody who was not in leadership, I really appreciated when she reached out to us to share information that came from those meetings or ask if we had input. And I think that that's something I would want to continue. I think it's really valuable if you're not in the discussion.
How about our moderator? Do you have any tips for how we should proceed here?
No, I think it's a really interesting dilemma.
Yes.
I think it is. I guess the question I have on that is simply just a, in part, there becomes a question which people probably can't answer right now, which is, the longevity in terms of how long they anticipate being in this role, as a role as city council. And making sure that, I don't know what factor that takes place into it, but I think it is just one factor to look at if you think, the role is something that you're going to do for a long time or you're going to do for a short time. And maybe if it's a short time, you put somebody in there so they can do it, or you do it as a long time. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. But I also just think that that's one of the factors I look at in that process.
Because both of you still have 3 to go, right?
And what I would consider an ideal world, that would give us all enough time to rotate through at least the VP role.
And in terms of longevity, I mean, we don't have a say in that, you know?
No,
It's like,
I mean, I
I
didn't
plan to
even-
be here 23 years, and I want that share right there the whole time, because
But, somebody like Kathy Bonzo, she came in and said, I'm going to do it for 4 years. That's it. That's what, at least that's what she said to me the whole time, every time I talked to her, was like, this is what I was going to do. So, I don't know. My answer is, I guess my next question is, do people have, if I were to actually be the moderator, I guess my question is, do people have any questions for the 2 candidates?
Did you have another
Yeah,
thought?
I don't have any questions, but I do have a concern in that, I agree with the commissions. We should all rotate through those and some of the other appointment stuff. I think the leadership is a bigger deal. And I think the leadership, while seniority does give you some degree of you know the flow of things and you know the protocol and some of that stuff, I don't think that it necessarily makes you the perfect position or the perfect candidate or the one that should deserve it more than somebody else. I think that surprisingly, Anne, I think your reelection statement, at first I thought, well, I don't agree with that, but I do agree with that. That shows to me a degree of being committed to being tortured twice. But
Engaging in the process.
there you go, tortured, engaging in the process. To me, that's kind of them. But I guess I bristle a little bit at the idea of it being a spot to rotate people into because they're on the council. I agree that we are all leaders, but I do think that we need to remember, like I brought up last year, we need to be a representative government. And so this isn't okay, Maureen gets to because it's 2022. This is an important, serious position, and really, from the 6 of us, we are choosing our leaders.
So, one thing you said, I did think about this discussion last year because it was brought up by a couple counselors. When the decision was made that it would be the 2 of us, some felt that there should be some representative balance of the people in leadership, that those 2 positions should demonstrate.
Diversity.
Right. Really be representative and not necessarily, run more closely aligned, I guess you could say. So, that's another thing that maybe could help our discussion. If people still feel that that's important, that leadership reflects the entire constituency and is as much of a balance as possible. So I think that's a little tougher when we're not such a clearly, thankfully divided council. But, if whatever each of us think that looks like, someone to pair with Art that would be.
Bring in some facets of perspective that I might not have.
Yeah, I just recall that being a part of the discussion last year of
Yeah.
why ultimately we were felt to strike that balance, I suppose, by some.
I don't know, I think we did a good job at it.
Yeah. I think it's important too, when I was vice president, Catherine was president, and there were very few times that we went through an entire meeting without some degree of, wait a minute, what? And just kind of clarification and a lot more discussion. So it is valuable. I really feel strongly about that.
Okay. Does that I think these are all great points. It's given us all to mull over and think about. How do we proceed from here? Do we do a vote? Does anyone, does anyone else want to speak to why they would lean towards either of these excellent candidates for vice president, both of whom would do a great job? We know that, which is what makes it difficult.
It's true, so I think it's time to stick a hand up in the air and
Agreed.
see where things lie.
So we can certainly do paper ballots if you'd like to, or blind vote or open vote. How would the council like to proceed?
Why don't we do I would say the paper ballots. The heads down blind vote with the hands up was kind of fun, but I just don't think we can do it without a teacher running the show here.
I'm not sure that plays on TV very well.
So being in Catherine's class, I have no problem visualizing that.
Thanks, Bill.
And however it turns out, the one who's not in this position, both of the people we're talking about are going to be around the next year too, so.
Yes, and regardless, everybody out here is a good contributor to the council business, and the business of the citizens in the community.
Indeed.
Right. We can't go wrong.
No.
Always, but especially today.
No, especially the 6th.
Okay. Oof. And then we don't have our Jeopardy waiting music to cue up, so.
I think that's a responsibility of the chair to hum it.
Somebody has to sing. Ready,
Do I need
go.
to tell jokes now? All right. So while Bill is getting that together, I mean, the next, once we find out who the vice president is, then the president, Art, will be on one of our committees. The vice president will be on the other. Do you have a preference timing-wise or based on what
No,
committee you
I'm
were on? So
wide
you're
open.
happy to be on
So I
either?
will defer to,
Okay.
actually, it turned out that I was on both of them quite a lot.
I know, it was a strange year, and I think many of us, especially when they were Zoomed, were there for both of them, whether we were serving on them or not, so.
It's true.
Okay.
Madam Chair, we were unsuccessful.
Okay. Okay. All right, so then,
I might suggest coin toss or revote, it's up to you, council.
What about a coin toss?
what do you all think?
Ooh, this is like Georgia or something.
No, we're hoping that Georgia does not go this way. We're not looking for Georgia, we're looking for a straight-up win, let's be clear. One way, just, we've had enough coin tosses.
All right. Well, anyone have any ideas other than the coin toss? I think we'll entertain any
We want
ideas at
Lori
this
to
time.
make sure, that she checks them and that they're correct and the penmanship is correct and everybody only votes
Oh my
once.
God, exactly. And that's all.
Did anyone double vote?
They did, but many people
All right.
double voted.
Okay, well, without hearing any other,
This is
Meetings
unique. I
out, we'll-
don't recall this happening before.
right, and I guess I would,
Second question is, does somebody have a coin?
I think you have to have two tosses, and one is to say,
Who
You know,
calls it?
I have a
heads or
penny.
tails, who calls it? So that's the first question.
Honestly, I don't have any
And then
other.
the next question after that then becomes, whoever gets to do the toss, that person
It
gets
is,
to test it.
it's a wheat penny.
Wow.
I've got an angel, but it's weighted on one
all
side.
right. How do we, okay, so the first question is, who is heads and who is tails?
I'll be heads.
I'll be tails.
Okay, there you go.
Okay,
See,
there we
we're
go, we
all,
only need one.
and however it comes out, 2021 is going to be a good year.
You have to be able to read it.
Put those glasses on there.
I believe that's.
That was tails.
Yep.
That was tails.
So, and that is Sandra, correct?
Sandra.
Okay, so we have concluded this part of our agenda. So we have Art and Sandra, and now Sandra, do you have a preference for which committee, the Public Works, Finance, or Administration?
I would like just, just to be safe to have the later one.
Okay.
I anticipate on being at both, so it's not a huge deal, but just to save a little driving time and maybe a speeding ticket.
And which one were you on this
I was
past year?
on Public Works and Finance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we
so-
just stop for a second
works.
and then congratulate everybody who got it? Do you know what I mean? Like, Art, congratulations.
Sure.
Sandra, congratulations. I mean, like, there's some kind of acknowledgement that we just did an event. Now we put a closure on that, and we move to the next step. I will moderate this anytime you'd like. There you go.
I think do you have your Robert's Rules of Order stashed up there?
Well, I'll tell you, Bill Lambert clearly doesn't think I have the Lambert rules with me at any given time. Okay.
All right,
So actually, when we put one of each leadership onto each of the two administrative committees, the Public Works and Finance and Administrative, then we
You
get
just
two from
switch.
the others, but then the committee itself elects the chair, vice chair, and
Right,
member.
and that's
So-
done,
But those committees can change from 3 to 4:30.
right, yep, I know. Well, that's why I was asking, if Sandra
don't care at all.
prefers to be on the later one,
We'll
but
put you
I
on
was
the later
thinking,
one.
and she was on Public Works, it might be nice for her to be on administrative, and we leave them at the same time, unless there's a reason that you think it's better to switch the times.
It's been more just equity for switching back and forth. There's not a reason they have to be at
I
different
say we leave them.
Okay.
Especially if she wants the later one and.
Administration, there you go. Okay, Sandra.
And then Art, your Public Works? Okay. And how about, let me see, I better start writing these things down here.
I will have this typed out for
Okay.
the meeting tonight.
All right, thanks. As far as the chair of the committees, we haven't always stuck with the president and vice president
No, we
being
do.
chair and
No, the committee,
vice chair, and actually, we did not do that at all this year, so,
right, so the committee itself
yep.
kind of, at the first meeting, does the
Right.
selection.
So do you want to split the remaining memberships from each committee to the other committee? Just to balance it out?
yeah, I would like to be on the later one. The
Well, let's you and I
administrative.
both do that, because I'm on Public Works right now, and I'd like to do
Okay.
administrative
Is
again.
that, Anne and Maureen, are you okay being on Public Works?
Sure.
Yeah.
I can move. I'm a little bit more flexible if you need the later one.
Oh,
can
no.
do either
I wasn't on that one this time, so I was hoping
Okay.
I was circled by that one that I wanted.
Okay, we got it. So we got Art, Anne, Maureen, Sandra, Brandy, Gina.
It's the same makeup, right?
I'm just not gonna know how to act. It's gonna be terrible.
Okay. Congratulations to everyone for your committee assignments, nominations. Okay.
Nice.
All right, we're ready to move on to the liaison roles with the commissions and committees. And I do think it is nice as much as possible. I personally would like to serve on ones that I have not yet, just to have as much experience and interaction with as many different commissions as possible. So I'm interested in serving on ones that I have not already. I don't know if others feel the same, but I would suggest that's what you think about. Yep. Agreed.
The only little blip in that is that I would love to be able to serve with CETA one more term, because we actually only met once and a half. And so I don't feel like I got.
You need 2
much out of
terms
it.
just to come up with a normal settlement.
And I have the same feeling about the Clearwater RC&D, because they're actually shutting down as an organization.
Yeah.
And this next year is that moment. And so the people that have been with them for the year have kind of set it all up. And I kind of feel like it's a respectful thing to do.
So are they still going to have meetings?
They're going to have one more.
Okay, okay.
I took them off the list because I was told they were done.
Yep. Yep.
Well, they're not on there.
They are, well, they're on
Well-
last year's.
So.
They're
so-
still,
They're not on the blank that you were.
okay, they are still, yeah, it's not
Do you-
worth.
Well, let me ask, do you feel that we should send someone for that last meeting that,
I think it would almost be like easiest just to send me, because I've been the one they're used to for the last year. One more meeting and they're done.
I think so.
But it's 6 of us.
yeah,
that
I
make
don't
the
think it makes
decision.
sense
I'm
to
not
put
doing
someone
it.
else there. I guess I was just more asking, do we even have
I don't think it's
you go?
official.
But, okay, all right.
And-
So if there's another Clearwater RC&D and you feel it would be good for a Moscow representative to go, everyone okay with that being Gina?
And
Okay.
honestly, everybody can go along with me if they want to. It's a really nice time.
Thank you
As
for
far
doing
as
it.
Sandra's request to
Kinda
continue with
sad.
CETA because of only having 1.5 meetings,
Yeah,
sound okay
some
to
of
everyone?
these get financially intricate, and getting to know where all the chips are sitting is a really good idea on some of these external boards.
Okay, I think that is reasonable too. Can
Can I give a suggestion on the next one?
What's that?
I
Yeah.
sat there and thought it may be kind of an interesting process, is just to go up and down the rows and everybody gets to pick their first choice, and you go around the room.
Yep, that's what we have.
Do we have a list that we can put up? I mean, I know them, or can someone just pull?
Do you
up
have
the-
that on your
Did I not
agenda?
get
Right here.
it? Did I
It's in
just
here.
not go through
Yes.
far enough?
Here it is.
I think you did this last year too.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I think
Look at all
those,
your pages.
and let me just, before we go on to that, a couple of things that are just sort of fixed that are mayoral appointments, just so we know. I believe I'm still on the URA because my term expires 2021. What about the other position? Do we know that, or?
I think that depends on Bill.
The
Okay.
mayor appoints that, right?
Right,
Yep.
Yeah.
okay,
I wouldn't be surprised if he just said, okay, Art, you're there, go again.
okay. All right, well, that timing doesn't interfere with any of the other meetings, so shouldn't affect too much what we need
No.
to go with.
That doesn't interfere.
So why don't we just go with Maureen, what's your top pick? And if someone else wants it too, then sometimes we kind of work it out. This is a lot easier to work through.
I will do planning and zoning. Nobody
Ooh,
else wants it,
good.
I know that.
I knew you were gonna do.
Yep, I think that's a good one for you to do.
I know it's not mine
That's
either. but
awesome. I
I
was
just
totally
think-
gonna do
That's
that.
my
for you.
first choice, my first year.
Sandra?
I would love the Arts Commission.
Okay, that's one I haven't done yet either. I've got that on my wish list
Okay.
too. So we could,
You can come back to that.
yeah, why don't, we'll take little notes, like ones where someone else is like, oh, we could come back to it because maybe we'll be able
So
to. say
Ann, did you
about
want to
one.
come back to planning and zoning? Oh, you said you did that your first year.
First year.
Okay, sorry.
I'm taking the same approach for ones I haven't, so I would like Parks and Rec.
Ooh,
Okay.
you're gonna love them.
I know, that's another one that I haven't done either, but.
They eat at their meeting.
Oh, man, you
Yes,
told
they
me that
do.
beforehand.
Fruit, cookies, it's
Free
awesome.
food.
It is
that
So
were
my
awesome.
two that I circled were arts and parks and rec.
You can have, do you want
well-
Parks and Rec, Brandy?
What's that?
Do you want Parks and Rec?
I haven't yet.
Would you like it?
Yeah,
You can have it.
Oops.
okay.
Go for it.
What else would you like, Ann?
Another one that I have not is Tree Commission.
Okay. That's good. I love the tree commission.
Yep.
They're great. Okay, Gina?
See, I have 6 years on this so far,
so-
5 years. So I'm looking at all of these going, okay, yep.
Is
yep,
there
yep.
anything that you haven't done yet?
Transportation.
I
Okay.
haven't done that one yet either.
Yeah, but do you want to wrestle for it?
Nope, I'll opt for another one
Do you have
someplace.
another top, close to your top choice?
Let me run down the list, but go for the transportation.
Oh, I'm penciling it in.
Okay.
Okay. So you got Parks and Rec then?
I think so. I mean, we'll see how it all shakes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flip that coin again.
Anything, have you been on everything?
Yes, I've been on everything, well,
Okay.
except for farmer's market, I've been on everything else.
Well, why don't you do farmer's market?
Okay.
Okay. So how about, anyone else have it? I'm just going to kind of open it up. Sorry, I can't go so structured. Anyone else want to shout out something that they're hoping to have or that they haven't had?
I do the building code advisory again, that was kind of a hoot.
Yeah, I think you've been on that for a while, and they only meet as needed, and it's like a couple times a year, and that
It's- if
probably
that,
makes sense if unless someone-
Awesome.
yep.
Okay,
Oh, that doesn't count.
okay, that'll make you look really busy by having,
Yep,
I am on the Fair and Affordable Housing Commission right now, and we're trying to align the housing leadership team with this group right now. if nobody else wants it, I would love to carry on just because it's kind of good.
It's on my list,
Continuity?
but the answer is if you've done continuity, you should just keep it going.
But I'm not, I'm also, if somebody else really is on fire for it, I'll back away.
Go for it.
Okay. Everyone's all right with
I
Gina
would
there?
like, I don't see it on here, but I'd like Board of Adjustment.
Oh,
Fair and
we don't
affordable
have, I
housing.
don't think we have a liaison for that.
Oh, there isn't? Never mind.
They're just a quasi-judicial hearing body. There's really no policy guidance between the council and.
And
I
could
hear you,
lead
though.
to interesting quasi-judicial issues between council and the board.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, for continuity purposes, I would like to stay on the Human Rights Commission, mainly because we're doing a project and I'm on that project this coming year. We're going to do a project on restorative justice, and that's my topic.
Okay.
Can I have historic preservation?
Fine with me. Everyone okay? All right.
Brandy, did you wind up with arts?
Well,
I don't have anything yet,
right,
so.
right now I've got both. Sandra wanted it and I want it too, but we'll see. So how about, there's still pathways?
I'm on that one right now.
Pathways SEC,
I've been involved with all of these that are left, so that's fine.
How about, have you been on SEC?
Well, not as a commissioner, but I was a liaison for about 7 months with the Human Rights Group. We were working on pesticides and other issues.
Yeah. Do you want it, who wants to be on SEC? 'Cause
I already did it.
I know I've done it too.
Me too.
You. So, Anne, have you done
I
SEC?
haven't, but I think I have a conflict. That's why I haven't. I'm just gonna check my calendar.
Right now, I think it comes down to Randy and Sandra meeting. Everybody else already has 2 assignments.
Mhm.
Arts may be cheating, but.
I'm cheating, but I would be happy to go back to pathways.
Yeah, I'm fine to go back to pathways also, or, let's see, wait, we got, Gina, you're done.
What does that mean?
You're full.
I have 2, yes.
Gina, Maureen, and Ann, I think all have 2 assignments already.
Yeah.
we need an SEC.
Oh, Maureen,
Yeah, and Maureen's got human rights and P and Z.
oh, somehow I have Gina there, okay.
What did you put me on?
I had you on human rights instead of fair and affordable housing, but I got it fixed now.
Sweet.
I can take SEC.
So this is pathways and arm wrestling over.
I don't mind staying on pathways. They haven't hardly met either, quite honestly. I think we had 3 meetings.
Who's human rights? Marie, is that you? Human
Yes.
rights?
But, the issue is just I have to work with them at least until through the spring to get this panel put together for a series of educations on
Okay.
that issue. It just made
I'm
sense.
happy to
Thank
take
you.
pathways.
Well, but, you know, Sandra really needs something.
Yeah, I really do.
So, Anne, you said you would take SEC.
I would, if you're willing, Sandra, that would be my preference, but I can take it.
I would love that because I've been grinding through that before, and I'd do it again if need be.
Okay, well, how about this? How about, here's my offer. We're kind of wheeling and dealing here. Sandra, how about, would you want to take, would you be happy with taking tree and pathways? That's taking tree from Anne, just because you've
I don't
got,
want her to be sad.
and I also don't want, but I don't want you to be overloaded, Anne, so think about that, because right now you got 3.
I thought I have 2.
3.
You have
Historic
historic
pres-
preservation, SEC, and tree.
Oh, I thought you were willing to, Sandra.
To
Sorry.
do what?
To take SEC.
I will if I have to.
Okay.
When do they meet?
They meet at the third Tuesdays at 6 PM.
Okay. Okay.
So who's taking SEC?
I guess I am. Yes.
Okay, and then Anne, you are tree and Historic Preservation. And you're going to let me take arts, Sandra?
Does that put me on pathways then? Okay, yep.
They give out such good swag on that commission.
Who's that? The arts?
The Arts
Yeah.
Commission,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay,
It's
well,
just, I just love doing shows, but I'm happy. That's right. That's grand.
okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. I've been wanting to be on arts,
Yeah.
and this is my 4th year, and
Yeah.
I guess it's one that everybody wants to be on.
It's a really cool commission.
Okay,
Madam Chair, can I run through the list just very quickly?
Yes.
Make sure we're all on the same page. So Arts Commission, Brandy, Building Code Advisory, Art, Urban Affordable Housing, GINA, Farmers Market, Art, Historic Preservation Commission, and Human Rights Commission, Maureen, Pathways Commission, Sandra, Parks and Recreation Commission, Brandy, Planning and Zoning, Maureen, Sustainable Environment Commission, Sandra, Transportation, GINA, Tree Commission. Does that match up with everything?
That's what I have.
that's what I have.
Great.
Yep. And,
Oh, I know.
So I just received a text from Gary, and the mayor is gonna put art for the.
okay,
Okay.
and so that would be a 2-year term expiring 2022.
Yeah.
Oh, but
But then it would switch over and somebody would get it for a
we'll just,
one-year fill-in term should I, which looks likely not up for re-election.
okay.
So,
So just out of curiosity, does that mean that there's 2 council people on the Urban Renewal Agency?
Yes.
Yep.
So you'll be on for this year, and you'll be on for this year and the following year?
Correct.
yes. But if re-election does not occur, then somebody else would step in for that other one-year term and then 2-year beyond that. URA is one where continuity is a really good thing. As I think Brandy would agree.
Yep,
agree with that.
definitely. It would be hard to have 2 new at the same time, I think. Okay, so then, is everyone relatively content?
Yeah.
Okay. There's also the Moscow Volunteer Fire Department is one I know that meets the second Monday at 6:30. Maureen has had that position, I believe the year before was Gina.
Yep.
Anyone eager to do that?
I would be interested in that one. I want to slide down the pole.
You know, it's the first thing they ask you to do.
Okay, well, they hazed Maureen. They didn't ask me to do that.
They tried to haze me. I was not going down the pole.
Yeah, I would love to do fire department.
Okay. You got it, Art. And then several of these others are mayoral appointments, and I think the Chamber of Commerce Board is not any of us, correct?
I sit on it
Oh,
already,
okay.
and I sit on the SMART board as well.
Oh, smart, right.
But I sit on it as PEP.
Okay. Who was on the smart board?
I
Art.
would continue with SMART, but I'd like to trade off the PKC to someone.
Okay. Is anyone interested in PKC or smart? What is your feeling about transitioning smart to someone else? I
Smart's
mean-
another one that you need to be there for a little bit to start understanding what the issues and concerns are. And I'd like to continue on with SMART for much the same reason that Maureen wanted to continue on with the Human Rights Commission.
We run up against this every year, and I hear you, because I made this exact argument last year when I stepped off of PBAC. It is an important continuity moment, specifically also with CETA. You know, the Chamber of Commerce helps, but it's not as necessary. So I'm hearing you, and I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't fight harder last year, because PBAC is something I'm very passionate about.
I was on PBAC the last 2 years, Gina. So I was on this last year and the year before.
Well, how did we do that?
Well, I think it was
There was a
continuity.
couple, yeah.
Yeah, it was a
The exact
continuity.
Yeah,
rationale.
it's one of those that a 2-year thing makes a lot of sense.
Oh, did we decide that was there a 2-year?
No, we didn't decide that. I remember that
I
conversation.
think, it was a similar thing and had been pretty
Yeah.
immersed in some projects with them, I think having to do with marketing or
Yeah, there was
yeah,
social
outreach
digital,
and,
yeah.
asked
Well, I
to
think a
continue
lot
on
of us
that.
were interested in that one at the time, but Anne's like, we just started on this, it'd be great. We're like, oh, that makes a lot of
Okay.
sense.
All right, so
Okay.
so how does everyone feel? Is Art staying on Smartboard?
Yeah.
When does PKC meet?
The schedule isn't quite right on that one. They, second Thursday at 11:30 a.m.
Oh, that's a hard one. Okay,
And they've been Zooming for the past year, but otherwise it's the conference room out at the airport.
can someone do that?
What is it again?
Second Thursday at 11:30 a.m.
I can do it.
Right. Anne's got
Hey, Ann.
Palouse Knowledge Corridor, Art has Smartboard, Palouse Basin Aquifer Committee, so,
I think after 2 years it'd be appropriate for someone else. But are any of the new folks or anyone else interested in it?
Gina, I know you want, I want it too,
But
but I can
if,
do it.
but I can,
when do they meet?
That's a good question. 2 PM on Thursdays, I believe, once a month.
Oh, it's on here.
Thursday of the month at 2.
Okay, thank you,
Yeah,
Lori,
so
for putting that all there.
So how about you take it, and then I'm gonna put a plug into the mayor for keeping me on the 1912 Facility Committee.
Ooh, I went to the 1912.
I don't have hardly anything going on here.
Oh, I got 2.
if you want, well, if you want to take P-back, I'll take the Moscow, the fire department.
Art took the fire
Art took
department.
Oh, wait, I thought you took Smartboard.
You took
I
both
did.
of them.
Oh, for gosh.
I can meet with you and walk you up to speed on some stuff too, Sandra.
On,
P-back.
I think Gina's taking P-back.
Okay, so you were both interested in PBAC. And have you been on PBAC before?
It apparently was 2 years ago.
Okay,
Yes. But all these other ones I already sit on. That's kind of what I'm
So,
up against.
I'm okay not doing a 2 PM Thursday, so, I mean, maybe in a
I
couple
can
of
do
years if
that.
I'm still
I'll
around.
do that. Oh,
well, that's PBAC. We already have enough competition for that one, Maureen.
no, I was looking at Palouse Quarter. I'm on the wrong one. There we go.
Okay.
Trying to,
All right, how about we go with Gina for PBAC this year? Is that, okay. What are we missing? Oh, the facilities, you're going to talk with the mayor about that, or
I
I
think
guess
you're
maybe a
done.
couple of you are?
Yeah.
who sits on the chamber board then?
The mayor, I believe?
The mayor does that?
Yeah,
Okay.
mayor does that, and the airport board.
I didn't mean to delete those, but
I'm like, crap, another decision we didn't make.
I think that fills everything that's not a mayoral appointment.
It does.
All right,
Why don't you go this time?
So,
do you want me to go through that
sure.
quickly? 1912 Center Facility, Sandra Kelly, 1912 Center Use, Art Beck Key, Airport Board, John Kimmerling, Airport Board Vice Chairs, the Mayor, CETA, Sandra, Chamber Boards, the Mayor, Volunteer Fire Departments, Art, PBAC's Gina, PKC is Ann, Smart Boards, Art, URA is Brandy and Art, and Whitcomb's Police Chief.
Okay.
And Gina will finish out the term with RC&D this year.
yes, yes.
All right, we have accomplished item number 1, and item 2 is other business, which I have none. Anyone have other business?
Right there.
Workshop? Dinner?
Sandwiches.
Okay. Anything that you needed to add?
That
Bill?
is it? No, that is all this evening.
Okay, great. Then we will adjourn and see everyone again at 7 o'clock at our regular council meeting.
Sweet.
Are we going to eat?